Hey y'all, this is always as unregular as ever, Zane Blakestone, streamer extraordinaire. And now I'm on a PB server. I'm right now solo, but teaming up with one of my friends. We have a base in Cherno, so server has been modified a bit to make loot a bit more scarce. But make no mistake, this is Cherno, so ain't the toughest map out there. Livonia and Sakal are providing more challenge for survival. Oh, and IJ. Keep the ammo for myself, because I've got my rack. But at the same time, I'm not against having an IJ. Because there is a very simple principle to this life, this PvE game that I'm on. Simply that we are not really going far from Cherno. These survivors were living in Cherno and are very urban and not the most adventurous, so for PvE purposes and RPG purposes, if you can say, we're staying pretty much in Cherno and close. Like we go to Balota Airfield sometimes, and sometimes we're gonna get out, but we're trying to survive basically, staying in Chernogorsk. So in this game, not seeking military weapons, not seeking like, you know, KAMs, K-74s and such. Balota Airfield offers not much in terms of good clear weapons, so we are staying in this place by design. Because of course we've had games where we've been able to, you know, have heavy guns and cars and such, but on this playthrough we're not expecting that necessarily. We've got cars, but basically just to move around in Cherno and close nearby. And mostly I'm not going to be using the cars that we have. Yeah, by the way, like it's PvE, and it's my buddy and I server, so it is by design. It's basically just almost as if we were playing the game offline, because it's just him and I surviving the game basically. Make no mistake, I play PvE as well. And I'm not the best at it. The PvP, I mean, but I like it a lot. I like the stress of it. I like the how hard it is to, how much harder it is to survive a PvP environment. And PvP, I know sometimes can be cringy, but it's kind of like real life. Sometimes you'll find good people, most of the time not. Yeah, but you know, you find some gems out there. Sometimes you make friends, you survive, you run together. It's a fun experience. Depends the type of server you want to play and the type of player that you are. As for myself, mostly friendly, but if you see me on official, I'll tend to have a shoot first mentality. Community servers might be a bit different depending on the nature of said server. So yeah, for the million around the world watching this, Zane Blakestone is the name. Well, gaming name at least. Because you guys hear my accent, and you know, I ain't from your part of the world. But fear not, You will most likely understand me well enough. I do speak an acceptable level of English, I find. Actually, no. I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm not that humble. As a French-based dude, to be able to use English the way I do is a big pride. Because not every person from my part of the woods, my neck of the woods, as you guys would say, is able to master the Shakespeare language as much as I can. Of course, you'll notice sometimes some sentences are gonna come out a bit funny, just because while I may speak English well, some expressions and some thoughts still, of course, they come in my head in French, so sometimes my translation is really literal, like word for word, rather than, you know, expression for expression, because there are sayings in French and English that use different wording, but they mean the same thing. You know, in English, you guys say to kill two birds with one stone, which I find pretty violent, actually, talking about killing nature and stuff. Just kidding, but and in French, it's alike, but we're not gonna talk about any birds or animals or any living things here. Actually, the saying is faire d'une pierre deux coups. It's like hitting twice with the same stone. Kinda. Hitting two things, or like, you know, with the same stone. Like double shotting with one stone, but it doesn't specify that you're actually attempting to kill something. Does that go on my head? Yeah. I'm not a fan of the Petoshak hat. So yeah, I'm still traveling around town. Cherno, as promised. Because my buddy's character and mine, they want to stay in the vicinity of their homes. Maybe they're expecting a certain survivor to come back. Maybe they're just like, they're not the adventurer type. They don't want to go out too far. They don't want to wander too far. Oh, cannot depend. Man, those bells are really unsettling. Also, yeah, I cannot unpack it because of the bug. So I think I'm gonna just leave it here, right in front of the store. Because since it's my server, no one is gonna get that. One day, maybe for roleplay purposes or just to expand a little bit, we might have other people on the server, but by no means do we ever intend on getting big, or because I'm a middle-aged man, people, although I know I don't sound like it, and so is my friend. And as middle-aged man, we cannot be on 8 hours a day, you know, weekends on end or whatever. Like, our lives are not built around Dayz. It's pretty much the other way, of course. Jesus Christ, with the feathers, it's so good. I really wish I can find, sometimes there are chicken, even in the city. If I'm lucky enough, maybe, oh, whoa. Well, these are a lot of these. There was a horde here, I think. Well, not I think. There was a horde, and it was actually programmed by my buddy Alex, who is kind of the server's admin, if you will. Although we kind of work together on things, but he's been managing the technical aspect of it. And for challenge, sometimes we create a horde, and at least once or twice we try to survive it as a duo, and then like when we consider we have beaten enough zombies, then we either reduce or deactivate the horde, which is a fun thing to do when you have your own server, you know. And a certain dislike of random encounters. Should I go get the tent? I think I should. But no, no. You know what? We have enough space and it's not going to be moving anywhere.